Now that we've planned a whole year down to the hour, how do we transition from year to year? Stay tuned to find out. Now that we have one whole year laid out, we will discuss how to transition from year to year. This process is repeatable every year, so you can come back and watch the series anytime. The benefit is to help you put in perspective the prior year and give perspective to the upcoming year. The consequence of not pausing and reflecting on the prior year and giving forethought to the upcoming year is that you may end up repeating the same mistakes over and over. Ever been caught in a cycle in life? So today we will be putting in perspective the past year and the upcoming year by completing specific questions about each. This helps in summing up the unfinished business and continuing tasks into the next year. And this works for calendar year planning, for fiscal year planning, and for school year planning. Supplies needed for this video include the following: the Completing Creating Year-to-Year Planning Sheet. This is an excellent resource that my mentor used with me to help you put into perspective the prior year and to have some forethought about the upcoming year. I will be sharing the links to these documents that I'm mentioning in the description. They can always be completed electronically, or you can download and print them and add them to your binder. The Assess Yourself document. This is where every 3 months you do an assessment of yourself, and when you come to the end of either a calendar year, fiscal year, or school year, depending on what type of year you're measuring, you complete the Assess Yourself form. Again, it can be downloaded and printed, or you can complete it electronically, but this one should be completed every 3 months during whatever year type that you are measuring. Also, we need to pull back out our vision board. Hopefully with your vision board, you have hung it in a prominent spot where you can access it and see it on a daily basis. If not, please pull it out and we will go over the vision that you had for the year along with the SMART goals sheets that we filled out as well. Also needed for this video is the SMART goals tracker worksheet. This is directly from Dave Ramsey's website, his SMART goals in 7 areas worksheet. And so he breaks it down in the 7 areas. I go a little bit further than this and I break it down into 9 areas. I add 2 more areas to this. But this is a great, quick goal tracker if you haven't done your goals for the year. Also, in one of the prior videos, we do a little bit more detailed version of this one called the Smarter Goals. So go back to that video to reference a more detailed tracker as well, but we can use this one or the more detailed one from the earlier video. And last but not least, the SWOT Lesson Learned Best Practice Analysis Worksheet. Again, all of these will be linked in the description and you can download them and print them, hole punch them and put them in your binder, or you can just complete them virtually and put them in a folder. Step 1, complete the Completing Creating document. So you see in the top corner, we pick what year we are measuring. For example, in this video, it is the middle of the year. So we are either gonna do the Completing Creating exercise for the organizational fiscal year or for the academic year. So we would put the months. I know for government, their fiscal year is from October 1st to September 30th of each year. And a lot of organizations follow that same fiscal year. Academically, depending on where you are in the country in the US, it's anywhere from August to May or June. So put a check mark next to the box at the top or an X if you're filling it out electronically, according to which type of calendar year, which type of year you are measuring. It could also be a calendar year from January to December, but just indicate which type of year you're measuring, and then we go through the questions. So the first section is completing this prior year that either you're in and is ending, or the year that has passed. So if we are doing it for organizational fiscal year or academic school year, it would be the 2021-2022 year that either we're still in, because this is June, right before mid-June here. So some people are still in school, some have completed it. So these are the questions towards that year, if it's academic, or questions that you can answer in advance towards the ending of a fiscal year. So just an example of some of the questions. Number one, what was the biggest triumph in 2022? Going down to number 5, what are you most happy about completing? And then number 8, what else do you need to do or say to complete in 21-22? All righty, so just an example of some of the questions there that will be filled out, and then moving down to the next section, which is creating your next year. Some of the questions include number 1, what would you like to be your biggest triumph of 2022-2023? Number 5, what major extravagances are you willing to experience or give yourself for that year? And then number 9, what about your work are you most committed to changing or improving in that year, the upcoming year? So that's just a sampling of the questions, but really deep questions that make you reflect on where you have been, and where you're going for the next year. Step 2, complete the assess yourself document for the end of the year. So theoretically, though I have a blank copy up on the screen just for illustrative purposes, we're at the end of either a fiscal year, calendar year, or school year. So the first 3 columns should be filled in, and then we're filling in the 4th column, and then also the last column. So the first 3 columns are for quarters 1, 2, and 3. The 4th one is for quarter 4, and then the 5th column is for the year overall. So we will fill out the assess yourself document, and this is in the 9 areas. Step 3, follow up on your vision. Hopefully your vision board has been living somewhere where you could see it on a daily basis. For me, that has been a pegboard. You see here the edge of the pegboard, and I've just had it hung on the pegboard, but it's where I can pass by it every day. But it's time to just pull back out your vision board if you had put it away, and just review it again. And actually look at the wording that you put on there and the ideas that you put on there and pictures, and just go over it again and see, are any of these things, have they come to pass? What I do is when things come to pass, I will write it next to the actual wording. So say, for example, someone gets married, or maybe I get married, you never know. I would have put a little inscription next to the hand with the ring, or any other wording that's on here. I try to put a date of when it came to pass. And you would be surprised at the amount of things that come to pass on your vision board when you set it before you on a daily basis. Step 4, follow up on your goals. So earlier in the series, we created the Smarter Goals tracking sheet, and that is tracking the 9 areas of goals. You can refer to that video in the description. I will put a link there. But also, if you are not a part of that process, here is a quick goal sheet from DaveRamsey.com where you can fill in some goals in seven areas of life. He mentions spiritually, financially, socially, physically, intellectually, career-wise, and family. And I add two more to those, mentally and emotionally as well, on the Smarter Goals tracking sheet from the prior video. But just to do this one really quickly, so theoretically this would already be filled out with the goals, and it says be specific. SMART means to be specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, and time bound. That's the acronym SMART goals. This sheet doesn't use that acronym, but that's the acronym I used on the prior video. But he is saying to be specific, be measurable, have a time limit, be yours, and be in writing. So you would write the goal in the goal column, and whatever category that it relates to, then the action plan and the target date. And then we would just be theoretically coming back today to say, did we complete that goal? Is it done? Can we check that off the list? So that would be us following up on our goals sheet. And the Smarter Goals sheet is similar, but it just has more, two more areas. And then it's broken down by the acronym SMART, actually S. So it's a little bit more detailed than this one, and it kind of takes you through a step-by-step process. But either one, the point is just to track your goals. So to take it from the vision board and actually translate that vision into goals. Last but not least, step 5, we are going to complete the SWOT lesson learned best practice analysis. And we have completed this in a prior video, but just to quickly go over it, SWOT stands for strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. Then we put next to that what can be learned from the strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. And then next to that, what are the best practices or things that could be done going forward given the lessons learned. So we have a column for each SWOT area, and you put a strength along with its lesson learned and best practice, a weakness, an opportunity, and a threat, at least one of each. And of course, you can put more than one, but just at least one of each. And this is so you can glean from your past experiences. Sometimes we go around in circles and keep repeating the same lessons because we don't get what the message is. So by doing a SWOT analysis, you can glean insight from your past experiences. You can celebrate your wins today, and you can also prepare and plan for the future. So that is the SWOT analysis. Transition is a process. Let's be prepared for a transition from one year to the next by summing up our prior year and preparing for the next.